I have created a Celtic Super League in Football Manager and simulated 50 years into the future. The league consists of clubs from all 6 Celtic nations and the Spanish and Portuguese regions which claim strong Celtic heritage. With all this variety in the league, which club will come out on top and be crowned best of the Celts? Hey, how's it going, and welcome to this Football Manager experiment video where I've created a Celtic Super League. Before we get started with the video though, shout out to Envra for actually recommending this video for me here today. Absolutely amazing knowledge in the comment. He suggested the video for me. He suggested about 50 teams and all the league names as well. Really appreciated, and great knowledge in terms of the Celtic football teams there as well from you. So before we go any further, lots of teams here to talk about. I already knew myself about the 6 Celtic nations. I'm not going to lie. I only had a basic knowledge about Celtic history, where of course Envra, from his comment at least, it seems like he has a very vast knowledge of the Celtic football teams as well. So thanks again for him for suggesting this. But the 6 Celtic nations, we have Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and then we also have Isle of Man, Cornwall in England, and Brittany in France. So there's teams featuring from all those nations here today. But also, thanks to Enver again, with his knowledge, he has shown me that, I never knew this, but there's claims of Celtic history through Spanish regions, 3 different Spanish regions, and also the northern Portugal region as well. So their claims are very strong. Not quite an official Celtic nation, so to speak, but I've included those teams in this video here today as well. So first of all, let's get started with the first league. Also, Enver came up with the names of these different leagues as well. I thought they were a really cool idea, so I decided to keep them. We've got the Celtic Premier League first of all, and we've got some big teams in here. The biggest team in here in terms of the present day has to be Porto, which is one of the teams from the northern Portugal region, by far the biggest team in the northern Portugal region. So Porto in the league is very interesting. We've also got Braga in the Celtic Premier League here as well, also from northern Portugal. And in terms of French teams, we've got Rennes, who are the biggest from Brittany. We've also got Brest and FC Lorient here in the Premier League. Obviously from Scotland, we've got Celtic and Rangers in the Celtic Premier League as well. Also got Guimarães from Portugal, missed them off as well. And we've got some Spanish teams in as well. Celta Vigo. Well, that shows you these strong Celtic ties some of these Spanish teams have. They literally got Celta in the name there, so I don't know why I didn't see that before, really. Oh, I did see it, but I just didn't put 2 and 2 together. Celta Vigo. We've also got Deportivo, Real Oviedo, and Sporting Gijon. So yeah, a very vast, varied league here in the Celtic Premier League. Very, very interesting. Also, I've taken over the Scottish League pyramid, very similar to my British Super League, for the sake of this experiment video. So there's 42 teams in total. Those are the 12 teams from the Celtic Premier League, and also the leagues are sorted from reputation. So to not get any bias towards the teams, these are the teams with the top 12 biggest reputation. So they start off in the Celtic Premier League. Into the second league, we've got the Celtic Championship. And we've got a lot more British Isles based teams here, such as Aberdeen, Dundee, Dundee United, Hearts and Hibernian, all from Scotland here. We've also got Cardiff and Swansea from Wales. First time we've seen the Welsh representative in the video. And we've also got Guingamp from France, Racing Santander from Spain, and also Vizela from Portugal, which are the 4th and final Portuguese team. Into the Celtic Ascension League, you see our first Irish teams in this league. We've got Derry City, who play in the Irish League, I believe, in real life, but they're actually based in Northern Ireland. They're actually, well, from Londonderry, which is Northern Ireland, but I think they've also got a rich history as well. Also got Linfield in here, or actually from Northern Ireland, and play in Northern Ireland as well, and Shamrock Rovers from Ireland as well. We've also got Wrexham. We've also got Wrexham, who of course are Welsh, playing in England in real life. We've also got a Spanish team in Pontevedra, a French team in Carcanu. I'm pretty sure I absolutely battered that pronunciation, by the way, but that's what I'm going to call them. Concarneau. Sounds terrible, I know. We've got some Scottish teams in here as well. Ayr United, Hamilton, Kilmarnock, and Ross County. So, yeah, very interesting league, the Celtic Ascension League. And the final league is the Celtic Heritage League. And a lot of Irish teams in this league. Got Bohemians, Cork City, Dundalk, Galway United, Sligo Rovers, and St Patrick's Athletic, all in the Celtic Heritage League. So 6 Irish teams, 1 Scottish team in Queen of the South, 1 Welsh team in Newport County. We've got 1 English team, the only English team in the video. They are from Cornwall, Cornwall's biggest club, and that is Truro City. And last and definitely least, we have the solitary club from Isle of Man, who are named FC Isle of Man. Not really expecting too much from FC Isle of Man, to be honest, seeing as they've got a half-a-star reputation and obscure, so not going to expect much from FC Isle of Man. Also Truro City, they are also the 2nd smallest club in the video as well, only a 1-star reputation for them as well. But they both are 2 of the Celtic nations, the 2 of the 6 official Celtic nations, Cornwall and Isle of Man, so had to feature them in the video as well. So those are the 4 leagues we've got here. Obviously the bottom league got a lot of Irish teams to talk of. An Irish team needs to do a lot of work to get up to the Celtic Premier League, but to be honest, looking at the teams, I'll be very surprised if the biggest team from the video doesn't come from Porto, Rennes, Rangers and Celtic, and probably Celta Vigo in there as well. So if one of those 5 teams aren't the biggest, I will be very surprised. But starting off in the video here, Porto are clearly the biggest team, followed by Rennes. You actually look at the list of the teams at the moment in the video here. Porto come out on top with a 4.5-star reputation, worldwide reputation as well. The next biggest is only national, and that is Rennes with a 4-star reputation. So quite a big gap between the top and 2nd team as it stands. Porto by far the biggest team and favourites to do the best in the video here today. In terms of the video, I'm going to go forward 50 years into the future. Going to base it in 5-year intervals as well to see who's doing the best over that 5-year period. But also in terms of reputation, we've got Celta Vigo, Celtic, Rangers and Braga, all with a 3.5-star reputation. So those are the 6 big teams, but we've also got Brest, Sporting Gijon, Guimarães, Deportivo, Swansea, Cardiff, who can all make some sort of impact on the video here today. So I am very excited in that regard. In terms of the cups, we've got 3 cups to look forward to as well. We've got the Celtic Cup, which is the, basically the FA Cup of Scotland, of the Celtic countries now. We've got the Celtic League Cup, and we've also got the Celtic Pride Cup, which is the smallest of the 3 cups. So yeah, 3 more cups to look forward to as well. So I'm actually very excited about this video. Very varied list of teams here, as I said. You know, Porto and Celtic together in the same league sounds a little bit bizarre, but Porto, the Northern Portugal teams, have a strong claim to Celtic history, as do the Spanish teams as well. So this is the Celtic Super League. Let's go forward 5 years into the future and let's see who's on top. Well, 5 years into the future, and there's been big changes to the reputation of the teams already. Porto have gone down 1/2 star to only 4-star reputation and continental, and Braga have risen to 4-star as well. So the 2 Portuguese teams on top at the moment, although Porto are still officially the biggest club in the Celtic Super League. Rennes have dropped down to 3rd place, followed by Celta Vigo, Celtic, Rangers, FC Lorient and Guimarães, who have all got a 3.5-star reputation. So it seems like Porto are still the biggest team, followed closely by Braga. There's a big battle going on to be the 3rd biggest team in the Celtic countries. Well, I just mentioned the Portuguese teams, and in the first 5 seasons, it has been dominated by the Northern Portuguese teams. Porto have won 4 of the first 5 league titles, and Braga have won 1 as well in 2027. A little bit surprised about Braga winning 1 in the early stages here, but they are a good team. But I think there's better teams in the league, such as Rennes and Celta Vigo, so a little bit surprised about that. Porto won the first 3 league titles, not too surprised about that, and Porto on top in the early stages here with 4 Celtic Premier League wins. Well, in terms of the Celtic Cup, that is much more varied, and Celta Vigo won the first Celtic Cup in the first season, followed by Guimarães, another Portuguese winner here, which is nice to see. So 3 of the 4 Portuguese teams won a trophy already in the first 5 years. Porto won their first one in 2026, Braga the next season in 2027, and Rennes won their first piece of silverware in 2028. So at the moment, it's looking like it's all about the Portuguese teams. Hopefully it changes in the future. In terms of the Celtic League Cup, Braga have won 2 more Celtic League Cups, so that's nice to see. Rennes have won one of those as well in 2025. Celtic, one of the Scottish teams, have won a trophy, and followed by their fierce rivals Rangers, who won the Celtic League Cup in 2028 as well. So nice to see the Scottish teams chipping in as well. Have a Spanish team won anything yet? I think Celta Vigo did actually. Yeah, Celta Vigo won the Celtic Cup. So winners in both Portuguese, Spanish and the Scottish teams so far. And in terms of the Celtic Pride Cup, Porto have won 3 of the first 4 Celtic Pride Cups. So they're dominating that competition. Celtic Vigo won one of them as well. And Cardiff, a Welsh winner as well early on in 2028. They have won the latest Celtic Pride Cup, beating Rennes in the final. So yeah, lots of winners to talk of in the early stages here. But Porto are on top. Not really too surprised to say about that. They've won 3 Celtic Pride Cups. They've won 1 Celtic Cup, and they've won 4 Premier League titles as well. So 8 trophies in total for Porto in the first 5 seasons. Sorry, Braga have won 1 Premier League. They've also won 1 Celtic Cup and 2 Celtic League Cups. So on top, we've got the 2 Portuguese teams first. We've got Porto with 8 trophies and Braga with 4 trophies. But Porto are definitely on top in the early stages here. Let's go forward 10 years into the future. Are Porto still on top, or will another team make an appearance at the top? Well, 10 years into the future now, and Porto are still on top in terms of reputation with that 4-star reputation, but followed closely, very closely, by Rennes and Braga, who have both got 4-star and continental reputation as well. So it looks like it's getting a little bit interesting at the top here. Porto won 4 of the first 5 league titles. Hopefully Rennes and Braga have chipped in with their first and, well, second, third, maybe 4 for Braga. So hopefully that has happened. In terms of the chasing pack, so to speak, got Celta Vigo, Celtic, Rangers, FC Lorient and Guimarães, all with a 3.5-star reputation. So hasn't changed much in that regard, it has to be said. Brest have fallen down a little bit, it has to be said, though, only with a 2.5-star reputation now. Other than that, doesn't seem to be too many changes as of yet in terms of the other teams. Swansea and Cardiff are, well, Swansea are in the Celtic Premier League with 3-star reputation. The Irish team's not doing much as of yet. St. Pat's Athletic, though, are the biggest of the Irish teams so far, sitting in the Celtic Championship, St. Pat's Athletic, so achieved 2 promotions already for them, so that is very, very nice. Still only got a 2-star reputation, though. Well, in terms of the Celtic Premier League, been absolutely dominated by Porto so far. They won 5 league titles in a row between 2028 to 2032. They've finally been stopped in the latest season by Rennes, who have won their first league title in 2033. So after 10 seasons, Porto have won 8 of the first 10, 1 for Braga, and the latest win for Rennes. Well, in terms of the Celtic Cup, Porto have won 2 more of them. FC Lorient were their first competition win, I believe, in 2030. Celtic have won the Celtic Cup for the first time, and Rennes have won it again in 2033. So at least a double for Rennes in this latest season, so great season from them. Also, the Celtic Cup has risen to be the 4th biggest cup competition in Europe, only behind the Italian Cup, the German Cup and the English FA Cup. In terms of the Celtic League Cup, Porto won that 3 years in a row. Rennes won it in 2032 and Guimarães with another cup competition win in 2033. Oh wow, look at this. The Celtic Pride Cup is bringing a lot of surprises about here. Racing Santander won it in 2029. Porto won it in 2030. Back-to-back wins for Braga in 31 and 32. And we have our first Irish winner. And it's Derry City have won it in 2033, beating Rennes in the final on penalties. Rennes, the biggest club in the Celtic leagues now, so great win for Derry City there. A big underdog, it has to be said, but yeah, brilliant for them. Well, it seems like Porto are definitely on, well, Porto are definitely on top, they need to count that, but I think Braga are still in second place in terms of competition wins. Well, Porto are definitely on top in the first 10 seasons here. They've won 18 trophies so far in 10 seasons, which is quite incredible, including 8 Super League titles. Braga in second place with 6 competition wins so far, but closely followed by Rennes with 5 competition wins. So the battle for second place is definitely heating up, but at the moment, after 10 seasons, Porto way out in top. Also, the competition has risen to be the 7th biggest league in Europe at the moment, so that's very nice. And we're above the Portuguese Premier League after taking Porto and Braga out of that league. Well, I forgot to mention the European football in the first 5 seasons there. Unfortunately, no one's reached the final of the Champions League or the Europa League yet. Hopefully that can happen in the future, we shall see. We had 2 finalists though in the Europa Conference League in the first 5 seasons. Unfortunately, they both lost. Celta Vigo was the first. They lost to Aston Villa in 2026. And Celtic lost the final in 2028 to Tottenham. So yet to see any winners in European football. I think the Champions League will be very difficult. Even though we've got some big teams in the league, Porto are our biggest team, and unlikely to see them win the Champions League or even get to the final. But it's definitely possible, that is for sure. It's definitely possible. But a Europa League win or Europa Conference League win, I'll be surprised if no team wins that in the 50 years, to be honest with you. But at the moment, 10 seasons in, Porto are the dominant force, followed by Rennes and Braga. Can't say I'm too surprised about that. Let's see if Porto are still on top after 15 seasons. Well, 15 seasons deep now, and not much has changed at the top here. Porto, Rennes and Braga still the top 3 teams, and still all with a 4-star reputation as well. Closely followed by the Rangers, Celta Vigo, Celtic and Guimarães, all with a 3.5-star reputation. Cardiff up there as well in the Celtic Premier League now with a 3-star reputation, as are Guingamp. Aberdeen have risen quite nicely into the Celtic Premier League, FC Lorient and Sporting Gijon. To be honest, it'd be nice to see Deportivo do something in the video here today. Obviously, Deportivo, a very historic club. Back in my childhood, they were a massive team in Spain. I think they won the La Liga title back-to-back, or am I making things up? I have no idea. They definitely won La Liga title, I know that much. They're not doing much as of yet, to be honest. Sitting in the Celtic Premier League, though, but only a 2.5-star reputation. But the biggest risers so far probably has to be St. Pat's Athletic. They're currently sitting in the Celtic Championship with a 2.5-star reputation now, so they really are flying the Irish flag, St. Pat's Athletic. Hopefully we see them do something in the video, that'd be crazy. But of course, Derry City have won a competition so far, winning the Celtic Pride Cup, but they're currently sitting in the 3rd league at the moment. Well, in terms of the Celtic Premier League, that has been dominated by Porto and Rennes over the last 6 seasons. Rennes won the last one at the last checkpoint there, but Porto won it in 34, but then back-to-back league titles for Rennes in 35 and 36, followed by back-to-back league titles for Porto in 37 and 38. So that means after 15 seasons, Porto have won 11 titles, Rennes have won 3, and 1 for Braga. So I think it's safe to say that Rennes have overtaken Braga as the 2nd biggest club in the Celtic leagues here. In terms of the Celtic Cup, well, first of all, that's risen to be the 3rd biggest cup competition now, above the Italian Cup, which is nice to see. Sporting Gijon won that in 2034. I think that might be their first trophy, not entirely sure, to be honest. I keep saying Sporting Gijon, which I think is butchering the name, so I'll say Gijon from now on. Maybe I'm entirely wrong, though. Celta Vigo won 2 more Celtic Cups in 35 and 37. Yet to win the Super League, Celta Vigo, but doing quite well in the Cups. Rangers have won that in 2036. Is that for the 2nd time, or is that their first one? No, it is their first one. They won the Celtic League Cup, I believe. And Porto are the latest winners in 2038. Well, in terms of the Celtic League Cup, Aberdeen have won that in 2034, so nice to see that from Aberdeen. Braga have won it in 2035. Celta Vigo again have won that in 36. And back-to-back wins for Rennes in 37 and 38. In terms of the Celtic Pride Cup, well, back-to-back wins in this competition for the Irish clubs. Derry City won it in 33, and then Shamrock Rovers won it in 2034. Braga won it in 35 and 37, and Celta Vigo won it in 2036 and 2038. So Celta Vigo are doing very well in the cup competitions. Yeah, Celta Vigo have won 7 cup competitions so far, but yet to even finish in the top 2 in the Celtic Premier League. So definitely a cup specialist, Celta Vigo. They also got to the Europa Conference League final as well, of course. So doing very well in other competitions. Be nice to see a Spanish team win the Premier League. Of course, only Portuguese teams and French teams have won that so far. Only 3 teams have won the Premier League so far. Well, good news is we have our first winner of a European competition. Only the Europa Conference League, but we have a Scottish winner, and Rangers have won that in 2035, beating Nottingham Forest in the final. Rangers were very disappointing in my British Super League, it has to be said. Very overshadowed by their, well, fierce rivals Celtic. But in this one so far, they've done quite well. Won a couple of cup competitions. They've also won the Europa Conference League as well. Well, after 15 seasons, Porto are still the biggest club, winning 22 trophies so far in 15 seasons, including 11 Premier League titles, of course. In joint 2nd place, we have Rennes and Braga. Both won 9 competitions so far, so both doing pretty well. And in 4th place, we have Celta Vigo, yet to win a Premier League title, but they have won 7 cup competitions, so definitely a cup specialist, Celta Vigo. Let's see if they can do anything after 20 seasons. Well, 20 seasons deep, and Porto and Rennes are still on top with a 4-star reputation, but Braga have fallen down to 4th place and with a 3.5-star reputation. They have been overtaken by Celtic, who have gone up to 3rd place with a 4-star reputation, albeit a national reputation there as well, though. But nice to see Celtic up in the top 3. Guimarães still doing well, as are Celta Vigo. Cardiff have risen to be a 3.5-star reputation team. Cardiff were big risers in my British Super League, by the way. Rose up from the bottom league, I believe, up to the top league and won the Europa League 3 times. So Cardiff, like a very good rise in my videos, it seems. Not quite as a sensational rise as last time, but they are slowly climbing and getting close to these big teams. So Cardiff, representing Wales, already won a trophy. Had they won any more, we'll find out in a sec. Rangers still a 3.5-star reputation team, but falling down a little bit, has to be said. Aberdeen and Hearts are doing well as well, up in the Celtic Premier League, with only a 3-star reputation though. Deportivo still hanging about there. Racing Santander doing okay. Brest haven't done much of the video so far, to be honest. Down to a 2.5-star reputation team. Hibernian and Swansea are in the Celtic Championship. So are Shamrock Rovers and Wrexham and Bohemians as well. St. Pat's Athletic, unfortunately, have fallen down into the 3rd league. Obviously, I haven't mentioned much about FC Isle of Man or Truro City. Not expecting much from those two. I'm pretty sure they're actually falling out the league system now, those two clubs. I think I worked it out why teams get relegated from the 3rd division. I'm pretty sure they finished bottom 2 seasons in a row. They get relegated. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's what I spotted from my British Super League. So I think Truro City and both FC Isle of Man have been relegated from the league system. Can't say we're too surprised about that, but at least they feature in the video, and who knows, they can make some meteoric rise in the future. I'm looking more at the Irish teams though. Obviously we've got Cardiff up there, the Welsh team. Not that much, they're not a very small team, Cardiff, let's be honest, in terms of the video, but the Irish teams are quite small. Hopefully one of them can rise up to the Celtic Premier League at some point. And talking of the Celtic Premier League, well, there's been one dominant force in the last 5 years. No surprise, it's Porto. They have won 5 league titles in a row over the last 5-year period. It's actually 7 in a row in total, from 2037 to 2043. So that means of the first 20 Super League titles, Porto have won 16 of the first 20. So it's going to be hard to look past Porto as the biggest club on the video. They are the biggest club from the league system here. Maybe not in terms of history. I think probably Celtic or Rangers would argue that case, has to be said. But in terms of biggest team in the world right now, it definitely has to go to Porto from the Celtic clubs. And this video is taking suit as well. They have won 16 of the first 20 Super League titles. Braga have obviously won 1 early days, and Rennes have won 3 so far as well. So still only those 3 teams have won a Super League. Hopefully that changes in the future. We've still got 30 years left to go, so hopefully it does. Well, in terms of the Celtic Cup, Porto haven't won that in the last 5 years. Rennes have won 2. Celtic won it back-to-back in 2040 and 2041. And Cardiff are the latest winners, winning it in 2043, I think for the 2nd time. Well, they must have won another cup competition, but Cardiff have won it in 2043. Also, the Celtic Cup is now the 2nd biggest cup competition in Europe, only behind the English FA Cup. So the Celtic Cup is a magnificent competition, it has to be said. Well, in terms of the Celtic League Cup, Porto have won 2 of those in the last 5 years. Guimarães, another cup competition win for them, which is nice. Rennes won it in 2041, and Celtic again, another win in 2042. And in terms of the Celtic Pride Cup, Porto have won 1, Rennes have won 2, Celtic another one. Celtic are cup specialists, it seems, and Braga have won that in 2042 as well. So it's nice to see a little bit of a variation in terms of the cup competitions, but in terms of the Premier League itself, dominated by Porto. Well, unfortunately, the last 5 seasons have been a little bit boring because Porto have won all of them. They're on a 7 league winning streak so far in the Celtic Premier League. Will that change 25 seasons in? Well, 25 seasons in, we've seen our first change in terms of the reputation here. Rennes are now the top team in the Celtic League system, just above Porto, with both of a 4-star reputation. Also, Guimarães in 3rd place now. They've actually overtaken Braga as the 2nd biggest Portuguese team of the video and 3rd biggest team of the league system. So let's see if they've won any Super Leagues in the last 5 seasons. Celtic are in 4th place currently, followed by Celta Vigo, Braga and Aberdeen with a 3.5-star reputation. Aberdeen have overtaken Rangers, who have fallen down again in another Super League video of mine, down to the Celtic Championship with only a 3-star reputation. Also here, Hibernian are in the Celtic Premier League, so Rangers are actually the 4th biggest Scottish team on the video now, which is absolutely horrendous for them, seeing as the Scottish League is a 2-team league, let's be honest, and Rangers have fallen below Aberdeen and Hibernian. Also, good news is St. Pat's Athletic are back up to the Celtic Championship with a 2.5-star reputation, still flying the flag for the Irish clubs. I thought they'd fallen off a cliff there, St. Pat's Athletic, in the last checkpoint there, but they've risen up again to the Celtic Championship. Very nice to see. Wrexham are in the Celtic Championship as well. Hearts are not doing as well as their fierce rivals at Burnley. They're actually 2 leagues below them, which is very interesting. Shamrock Rovers are in the 2nd league as well, representing the Irish teams. Swansea are doing terribly compared to Cardiff, has to be said. two leagues below them as well. And also, I mentioned FC Isle of Man and Truro City falling out of the league system, but another one who's fallen out of the league system are Vizela. Vizela of Portugal have been terrible so far in the video. They're not even playing in the league anymore. They're only a 1.5-star reputation team. So the Portuguese teams are doing very well, of course. Porto especially. But Guimarães and Braga have chipped in with some competition wins. But the fourth biggest Portuguese team, Vizela, have been absolutely terrible. And they've actually fallen out of the league system. Well, Porto were the biggest club in the last checkpoint there, winning 7 league titles in a row. But since then, it's been a Rennes domination. 4 league titles won in a row for Rennes from 2044 to 2047. Porto have stopped that though, because in 2048 they won it again. It's now heating up a little bit though in terms of the Super League winners between Porto and Rennes. It seems very likely one of those two teams will be the biggest team of the video. Braga, of course, have won 1. Rennes have now won 7 thanks to those 4 in a row there. So that means Porto have won 17, is it? Yeah, Porto have won 17 league titles now, but Rennes have won 7 now, so only 10 behind Porto. Sounds a lot, but another 5 in a row, and they're slowly catching Porto. So nice to see that from Rennes there. Also, the last 7 seasons been Porto or Rennes in the top 2, so they really are dominating the league. It has to be said. But look at that, Celtic and Guimarães, either one of those two teams have finished in 3rd place in the last 7 seasons as well. So these 3 teams, well, 4 teams, sorry, are definitely the biggest in the league system at the moment. Rennes, though, well on top in the last 5 years, winning 4 in a row, but Porto have won the latest. Also, the league has actually risen up to be the 6th biggest in Europe now. They actually went up to be the 5th biggest in 2044, but dropped down to 6th biggest now. Only the top 5 leagues are above them. Hopefully they can get in the top 5 again at some point. Well, in terms of the Celtic Cup, Porto have won 2 more of them. Celta Vigo, the cup specialists, have won that again. Still yet to win the Super League, of course, Celta Vigo, but doing well in the cups. Rennes have won that in 2047. The latest winners are Hibernian, who won that in 2048. Doing very well, Hibernian. I think they're the 2nd or 3rd biggest Scottish team now. It's either them or Aberdeen. I completely forgot. I know they're above Rangers. So Hibernian, the latest winners of the Celtic Cup. And the Celtic League Cup, Porto have won another 3 of them. Racing Santander have won that in 2045. And Rennes are the latest winners in 2048. And in terms of the Celtic Pride Cup, Braga have won 2 more competitions there. Porto won it back-to-back in 45 and 46. And Celtic are the latest winners, winning that in 2048. Well, unfortunately, we still yet to have a team reach even the Europa League final, so that's very disappointing. We haven't had another team reach the Europa Conference League final, though. That is Cardiff, who reached the final in 2048, losing to Nottingham Forest, though, unfortunately. But still, only 1 European trophy to any of the Celtic clubs' teams so far, and that is Rangers, who won it in 2035, the Europa Conference League. Had 3 more finalists in this competition, but it would be nice to see a team win the Europa League. Well, after 25 seasons, halfway through the video, Porto are still clearly on top, winning 38 trophies so far, but Rennes have really cemented their 2nd place, winning 20 trophies in 25 seasons as well. So those are the 2 biggest clubs at the start of the video, and 25 seasons in, they are still the 2 biggest clubs in terms of the video. So let's see if that can change going forward now, another 5 seasons to 30 years into the future. Can someone stop this Porto and Rennes domination? Before we go any further with this video though, guys, please remember that if you do like this video, to hit that like button for me. And also, if you're new around here and you want to see more videos like this, do hit that subscribe button as well. It'd really help me out and much appreciated. So 5 more years into the future, 30 years now in total, and Porto and Rennes are still the top 2 teams, both with a 4-star reputation and continental, so it doesn't look like much has changed so far. Celtic and Cardiff, though, are the chasing 2 teams, so we've got a Portuguese team on the top, followed by a French team, followed by a Scottish, and then Welsh team. What are the Spanish teams doing? No one has a clue. Real Oviedo are now the biggest Spanish team of the video, so the Spaniards are definitely letting us down here in terms of reputation. Got a little bit of a cluster going on here, though, between Oviedo, Celta Vigo, and Racing Santander. Guimarães and Braga are still doing well with 3.5-star reputation, as are Aberdeen and FC Lorient, with both a 3.5-star reputation as well. Rangers are in the Celtic Championship, but they've risen up to 3-star. And look at St. Pat's Athletic. St. Pat's Athletic are in the Celtic Premier League. Look at them go with a 3-star reputation. Definitely flying the flag for the Irish teams here. Magnificent story from them, has to be said. Hibernian have fallen down a little bit the last 5 years. Deportivo not doing much, it has to be said. And Brest, well, Brest have been terrible so far in the video. They started off in the 1st division and they are down into the into the 3rd tier now, Brest, which is terrible. Swansea have been awful as well, has to be said, but yeah, St. Pat's Athletic are the biggest story of the, well, apart from the winners of the competition, St. Pat's Athletic are the biggest story so far. They're in the Celtic Premier League now, St. Pat's, and they started off in the 4th division, so great from them. Can they continue to rise though? Can they do a meteoric rise like Cardiff did in the British Super League? Can they win a major competition? But we know 2 Irish teams have won one already in Shamrock Rovers and Derry City. And, well, Derry City have a 2-star reputation. Shamrock have a 2-star reputation as well. So St. Pat's Athletic are definitely more than capable of winning the competition here. In terms of the Celtic Premier League, though, not much has changed. It's still dominated by Porto and Rennes. Porto won it for a, well, back-to-back in 2049. Then Rennes won it back-to-back again in 50 and 51. And Porto won it back-to-back in 52 and 53. Also, the league has risen up to be the 5th biggest in the world, in Europe now, sorry. They've taken over the French league. They have broken the top 5 leagues. So, very nice to see the Celtic Premier League in the top 5 biggest leagues in Europe. But in terms of the Celtic Cup, been dominated by Portuguese teams. They've won it the last 4 years. And Porto have won it 3 of the last 4 seasons as well. Guimarães won it again in 2051. And Rennes won it in 2049. In terms of the Celtic League Cup, well, Celtic have won another one of them in 2049. Porto have won 2 more. Cardiff, another win for them in 2051. And Rennes are the latest winners in 2053. Into the Celtic Pride Cup, that's been dominated by Rennes. They won it 4 seasons in a row, from 49 to 52. But the latest winners are Cardiff, who won out in 2053. Well, unfortunately, no team has won the Europa League yet or got to the final. But we have another winner of the Europa Conference League, our second winner of the competition. That is Braga. Braga have won that in 2049, beating Sevilla in the final. Braga have been very quiet since their early days. They won 1 Super League in the first 5 seasons. Haven't won one since then, unfortunately. But they have won a European competition to go along with Rangers, who won it in 2035. So, 30 seasons in now. Porto are still definitely on top in terms of competition wins. And Rennes are still definitely in 2nd place. Can that change after 35 years? Well, it has changed in the last 5 years because now Celtic are the 2nd biggest club in the league. So that is very nice to see from the Scottish teams. And also Aberdeen in 4th place, by the way. So those two are doing magnificently well, especially Aberdeen. Look at them. 4th biggest club in the Celtic League system here. Porto are still on top with 4-star. Rennes haven't fallen down too much, it has to be said. Still got a 4-star reputation, but they are in 3rd place now, below Celtic. Followed by Aberdeen and Cardiff, Guimarães, Braga, and Real Oviedo, all with a 3.5-star reputation. Very surprised to see Oviedo as the biggest Spanish team. What on earth has happened to Celta Vigo? Well, Celta Vigo in the Celtic Championship with only a 3-star reputation, so they really have fallen down quite a lot. I had high hopes for Celta Vigo at the start of the video, has to be said. Celta Vigo are only good enough to be the 4th biggest Spanish team now, which is very, very bizarre to say. Hibernian still doing quite well up there in the Celtic Premier League. St. Pat's Athletic, not in the Premier League at the moment, but they are still sitting in the Celtic Championship with a 2.5-star reputation. Still the biggest Irish team, that has to be said. Dundee are doing alright, as are Hearts as well. Shamrock Rovers are in the Celtic Championship as well. So the Irish teams are definitely doing, definitely overachieving in the video. St. Pat's Athletic, still yet to see them win a competition, but maybe they have done in the last 5 years. But of course, Shamrock Rovers and Derry City have already won a competition for the Irish team. So I think, well, every nation has won something of the video, apart from, of course, FC Isle of Man and Truro City. They were by far the 2 weakest teams of the video, and that has shown in the video as well. But nice to see the Irish teams doing something in the video here. Well, the Celtic Premier League dominated by Porto and Rennes over these seasons here, and especially Porto. They have won the next 5 in a row. They've actually won 7 in a row now, Porto, which is I think their joint biggest record so far in the video. But it's all about Porto the last 7 seasons, 7 in a row for them. Rennes have fallen down to 3rd biggest of the league at the moment, below Celtic as well. Also, the league's dropped a little bit down to 6th biggest in Europe, but it definitely cracked the top 6, it seems. Either the 6th or 5th biggest league in the last 15 or 20 seasons, so that is very nice to see. But the Celtic Premier League dominated by Porto, winning 7 in a row. Well, in terms of the Celtic Cup, Rennes won that in 2054. Porto won it 3 years in a row, from 55 to 57. Also 5 out of 6 seasons, so by far the biggest club so far, Porto, of the video. But Aberdeen are the latest winners, winning that in 2058. Nice to see that from them. Is that the 2nd win? It's actually Aberdeen's 3rd cup win of the video so far. So Aberdeen are actually doing really, really well, it has to be said. But Porto still massively the dominant force. In terms of the Celtic League Cup, well, Porto are the latest winners of that. Aberdeen won that in 2054 as well. Celtic won it back-to-back in 55 and 56. And Guimarães with another cup win in 2057. Unfortunately, we haven't seen St. Pat's Athletic win something yet, but in terms of the Celtic Pride Cup, Rennes have won another one of those. Cardiff won it 2 out of 3 seasons. Porto won it back-to-back in 56 and 57, and Sporting Gijón won that in 2058 as well. Can we see St. Pat's Athletic, though, win a competition by the end of the video? Hopefully, we can. Well, unfortunately, no team has won anything in Europe in the last 5 seasons or reached the final, but after 35 seasons, Porto are clearly the biggest club of the video, and I'll be very, very surprised and baffled if they haven't won the most competitions by the end of the video. But can someone take that second place spot away from Rennes? You know, can we see a Spanish team win the league? We've still only seen 3 teams win the league so far: Porto, Braga, and Rennes. And, well, most of them have been won by Porto and Rennes. Braga have only the 1 solitary title. Still 15 seasons to go. Can we see the likes of Celtic or Rangers or even Aberdeen win the league title? Well, let's find out. Well, big changes in terms of the reputation after 40 years. Well, Porto are still on top, but they've risen to a worldwide 4.5-star reputation team. So that's very nice to see. That's what they started off the video at. They declined down to a 4-star team. Stayed at that level the entire time, but now they're back to a 4.5-star reputation team. Had they won a European competition? Let's hope so. Rennes are still in second place, but closely followed by Cardiff and Celtic, who represented both Wales and Scotland in the video, of course. So in terms of the top 4 teams, we've got Portugal, France, Wales, and then Scotland. So that's a nice variety there. I very much like that variety. Aberdeen still doing very well with 3.5-star reputation, as are Guimarães and Hibernian and Braga, all with 3.5 stars. But look at that, St. Pat's Athletic are now the what? 9th biggest club of the video from Ireland. St. Pat's Athletic with a 3-star reputation, still in the Celtic Premier League as well. Well, take this in, shall we? St. Pat's Athletic are officially a bigger club than Rangers. St. Pat's Athletic are a bigger club than Rangers. What on earth are Rangers doing in these Super League videos? I have absolutely no idea, but absolutely shambolic from them, it has to be said. St. Pat's Athletic, well, kudos to them, brilliant from them, but Rangers were absolutely ashamed of themselves. But so should Celta Vigo, to be honest. Look at the state of Celta Vigo. Down here in the Celtic Championship, only a 2.5-star reputation. Terrible for them as well. But St. Pat's Athletic, brilliant from them. Also, Hibernian and Aberdeen are doing brilliantly as well. And so are Cardiff and Celtic. Well, Brest are still absolutely terrible, has to be said, with a 2-star reputation there. Currently sitting in the 2nd division, Brest, but they've been filth in terms of this video. Not really any other teams to mention, though, in terms of falling down. I think Brest have been the biggest underperformers of the video so far. Well, in terms of the Celtic Premier League, I think it's safe to say who has won that competition over the video here. That is Porto. They have won number 5 in a row, making it 12 in a row for the video now. Disgusting stuff this, not happy with that. Why are Celtic or Cardiff not winning the competition? Well, not winning the Super League, for example. But look at that, Porto absolutely dominating the last 12 seasons. Celtic finished runner-up in the Super League 6 seasons in a row, which is kind of disgusting, has to be said. And Cardiff finished runner-up the last 3 seasons in a row. So those 2 teams are doing very well, but every single year it's being won by Porto. 12 in a row for them, and they've dominated the competition so far. Either won by Porto or Rennes over the last 40 seasons, apart from that solitary win for Braga in 2027. Let's hope we can at least see another different winner of the Premier League in the last 10 seasons. Hopefully that happens. Well, in terms of the Celtic Cup, Hibernian won that back-to-back in 2061 and 2062, so they're doing very well, Hibernian. Porto won it in 2060, Celtic in 2059, and Racing Santander won it again in 2063. In terms of the Celtic League Cup, well, Porto made that three wins in a row. Rennes won that in 2061. Cardiff and Celtic, though, are the latest 2 winners of the competition. And in terms of the Celtic Pride Cup, Cardiff, Aberdeen, Porto, Rennes and Celtic are the 5 latest winners of that competition. Well, we're still yet to see a team win the Europa League or even get to the final, which is a little bit underwhelming for the video, has to be said. But we have seen another winner in the Europa Conference League, and that is Cardiff. Cardiff won the Europa Conference League in 2060. Another meteoric rise from them in one of my Super League videos. The British Super League was better for their rise, it has to be said. But hopefully, can Cardiff win a Celtic Premier League in the last 10 seasons? It's definitely possible. They are in the top 4 biggest teams now, so I'm rooting for Cardiff to win a Celtic Premier League. It'll get Wales represented in terms of that league, but hopefully Celtic might win one as well, we shall see. Also, Aberdeen got to the final though in the latest season, but they lost to Norwich, unfortunately. So after 40 seasons, Porto are still clearly on top. They will win the video, that is for sure, but can we see another winner of the Super League in the last 10 seasons? Let's find out. Well, 45 seasons deep, and Porto are still the biggest club on the video with a 4.5-star reputation. But look who else have got a 4.5-star reputation. That is Cardiff. What a team Cardiff are in Foot Manager, by the way. The last 2 Super League videos I've made of them, both times they have risen to be a 4.5-star reputation team. So Cardiff love a Super League, it has to be said. Still second place for Cardiff, but a continental reputation and 4.5 stars is brilliant. Red and Celtic are in 3rd and 4th place with 4-star reputation. And then we have Hibernian, Real Oviedo, Guimarães, St. Pat's Athletic, and Aberdeen, all with 3.5-star reputation. St. Pat's Athletic with a 3.5-star reputation. Amazing, amazing stuff from them. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they have won a competition. At least we can say at the end of the video, the Irish teams have won a competition, of course, in Shamrock Rovers and Derry City. But I think it would be almost criminal if St. Pat's Athletic don't win a competition by the end of the video here. Racing Santander, Rangers and Braga all with a 3-star reputation, along with Hearts as well. Braga have really fallen down as well, it has to be said. Terrible from them. Rangers not doing too well either. At least they're both sitting in the Celtic Premier League, but I'd expect them to be doing a lot better than this, has to be said. Celta Vigo, though, terrible from them. Down to 2.5-star reputation into the Celtic Championship as well. And of course, Brest have been terrible in the video so far. Down in the 3rd league. But what a rise from Cardiff, but also what a rise from St. Pat's Athletic. I think they started off as a 2-star team, St. Pat's Athletic, in the 4th division as well, by the way. They've risen up to the Celtic Premier League. They're not one of the biggest teams, but they're definitely a solid team in this league system. Wow, would you look at that? Someone has finally stopped Porto in the Celtic Premier League, and it is Cardiff. Cardiff won 2 of the last 5, or 2 of the last 4 actually, competitions. So brilliant to see a Welsh team win the competition. That makes it now 3 different nations. Porto and Braga, of course, from Portugal. Rennes from France. And now Cardiff from Wales have won it at least. Can we see Celtic or maybe Aberdeen, for example, or Hibernian win the competition in the last 5 years to make it from the Scottish teams as well? That'd be very nice. Spanish teams, it looks like it's going to be quite hard for them, to be honest, and Celtic Vigo have fallen off a cliff. But nice to see Cardiff win it in the last, well, 2 times in the last 4 years. Porto made it 13 in a row, though, in 2064, and they have won 2 of the last 3 Super League titles. But Cardiff are firmly the 2nd biggest team of the Celtic League system here. Well, in terms of the Celtic Cup, Hibernian absolutely smashing that. They won 4 of 6. Well, 4 out of 6 Celtic Cups, sorry, from 2061 to 2066. They absolutely battered it. Very good for them. Cardiff won it in 2065 as well. Guimarães in 2067 and Aberdeen in 68. Also, the Celtic Cup is now officially the biggest cup competition in Europe, overtaking the English FA Cup. So the Celtic Cup is a massive cup, it has to be said, and to win that gives you great prestige in this day and age. Wow, would you look at that? I asked for them to win a competition, and they have done it. St. Pat's Athletic won the Celtic League Cup in 2066. Much deserved from them, it has to be said. What a rise it has been. Started off in the 4th division. They're now a firm Celtic Premier League team. 3.5-star reputation. And they have won their first trophy in the Celtic League Cup. So, you know what? I'm very surprised by the Irish teams. They've only won 3 competitions so far. 3 different teams, though. All cup competitions, of course. But the Irish team starts off very, very low down in the video. The biggest Irish team starts off in the 3rd tier. And only with a 2-star or 2.5-star reputation. So, a great rise from the Irish teams. I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised about them. But great from St. Pat's Athletic. That is what they deserve. Hibernian have won another cup competition, winning the Celtic League Cup in 64. And Cardiff won 2 more, 65 and 67. And Porto have won it in 2068 as well. In terms of the Celtic Pride Cup, well, Cardiff won 2 more of those. Porto have won 2 more as well, and Celtic have won it in 2066. Well, we're still yet to see a team reach the Europa League final, 45 seasons deep. Considering the fact we've got 2 4.5-star reputation teams, that is very, very bizarre, has to be said. Obviously had 3 different winners of the Europa Conference League, but it'd be nice to see a team win the Europa League in the last 5 years. We look at the league system here, though. We actually get 3 teams, the top 3 teams qualify for the Champions League. So Porto and Cardiff probably played in the Champions League every season, the last 10 seasons or so. We've got 2 teams qualify for the Europa League, sorry, and 1 team qualified for the Europa Conference League. Look at St. Pat's Athletic, by the way. 5th in the league this season. They qualified for the Europa Conference League. So St. Pat's Athletic in European football. They've probably played in European football before, actually, since they play in the Irish League in real life. But yeah, great story for them. They're definitely my favourite team of the video. Anyway, 5 more years to go. I think it's safe to say Porto have won the video. Don't think we need to talk any more about that. But Cardiff making a great late surge, has to be said. Can they win a Europa League title in the last 5 years? But also, can a Scottish team, mostly Celtic, can they win a Super League title in the last 5 seasons? Well, we've played 50 seasons now and Porto are still the top team. No surprise about that. They're still the 4.5-star worldwide reputation team on the top of the video here. Cardiff still in second place, but they're falling down a little bit. Only down to a 4-star now, along with Rennes. Celtic, Aberdeen, Real Oviedo, Guimarães, Rangers, Braga, Hibernian and St. Pat's Athletic all have 3.5-star reputation. So those teams are all doing very well as well. Especially St. Pat's Athletic, of course, and Aberdeen, the 5th biggest club of the video, Aberdeen. So that's great from them. Celta Vigo have been very disappointing, has to be said. As have Swansea, to be honest. FC Lorient haven't done much. Brest are absolutely... Look at the state of Brest. Brest are in the 4th tier with a 1.5-star reputation. They start off in the top tier of the video, so they have been the biggest disappointment of the video. Brest has to be said in terms of their demise, and in terms of the rise, well, that has to go to St. Pat's Athletic, firmly a Celtic Premier League team with a 3.5-star reputation. But Porto, the biggest team in the last 5 years, biggest team in the video as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see them win 5 years in a row in the Celtic Premier League. Well, not quite 5 years in a row, but they did win 4 years in a row to end off the video from 2070 to 2073. Cardiff won it for a 3rd time in 2069. So unfortunately, we couldn't see a Scottish or Spanish team win the Celtic Premier League over the video here. Only 4 teams have won it, but at least we saw a Welsh team win it as well. Cardiff won it 3 times late on, which is very nice to see. Rennes, by the way, fell off quite a lot later on. They did win it for 22 seasons, so Rennes not quite as big as they used to be. They did finish runner-up in the final season, though. But let's count up the Celtic Premier League titles here. Well, of course, Braga won 1 in 2027. Cardiff won 3 in the 60s there. Rennes won, well, they won 4 in a row at one point. They won 6, 9. Rennes won 9 Super League titles in total. So that means that Porto won 37 out of 50 league titles. So I think it's safe to say that Porto dominated the Celtic Premier League over the 50-year period here. Cardiff had a good little stint though. They won 3 out of 5 league titles in the late 60s there. Very nice from them. Also, Rennes, of course, won 4 in a row and also won 6 out of 8 league titles. So Porto haven't had it quite their own way the entire of the video, but most of the video, Porto have had it their own way. They start off the biggest team, and not too surprised to say, they end off the video as the biggest team as well. Also, the Celtic Premier League ends off the video as the 5th biggest in Europe. So I have to say I'm quite happy with that. Cracked the top 5 in terms of the biggest league. So it's definitely a very big league these days, the Celtic Premier League. Spit out some very big clubs who are doing some very big things as well. Well, in terms of the Celtic Cup, Porto won that for another 3 more times in the video. 2 back-to-back to end off the video as well. But look at St. Pat's Athletic with their 2nd win of the video. They won the Celtic Cup and the Celtic League Cup as well. So the Irish team, St. Pat's Athletic, got 2 competition wins come end. Well, they might have won more yet. We'll have to check, but 2 competition wins at least for St. Pat's Athletic. Cardiff won it again as well in 2017, which is nice to see. Well, in terms of the Celtic League Cup, Cardiff won that for 2 more times and are the latest winners of the competition. Rennes won it as well in 72, Aberdeen in 2070, and Rangers made a little comeback, winning that again in 2071. Also, the Celtic Cup ends off the video as the biggest cup competition in Europe as well, above the English FA Cup. So, you know what? This is a great league, it has to be said. The Celtic Premier League is ranked 5th in the world, or 5th in Europe, and the Celtic Cup is ranked 1st in Europe. So, yeah, definitely people are tuning in to the Celtic League, it has to be said. In terms of the Celtic Pride Cup, well, Cardiff won that 2 more times. Porto won it 1 more time, and Rennes won it back-to-back in 71 and 72. Well, unfortunately, bizarrely, in my opinion, no team reached the Europa League final in 50 seasons here of the Celtic League system. As I said, we've got some big teams in this video. We've got the 5th biggest league in Europe, the biggest cup competition in Europe as well, but we never made a Europa League final. Very, very strange. But anyway, we've got 3 European winners in the Europa Conference League, of course. Now I need to count up the competition wins. We know Porto are in 1st place, but who's in 2nd and 3rd place? Well, I say no team has reached the Europa League final. I've completely missed the fact that Rennes won that competition in 2062, so I am completely wrong about that. A team did reach the Europa League final, and they won the competition. Rennes won that in 2062, beating Aston Villa in the final. So we did have a team winning Europa League competition, and that was Rennes. So very nice from them. Well, it's actually quite a clear third place in terms of the video. It's quite a clear top three, has to be said. In third place, you actually have Cardiff, who won 21 trophies in total at the end of the video. They actually won the Europa Conference League as well, I believe. Or was it a couple? Yeah, they won the Europa Conference League in 2016. They won 6 Celtic League Cups. They won 8 Celtic Pride Cups, 3 Celtic Cups, and of course 3 Celtic Premier Leagues as well. So great story from Cardiff. By far the biggest Welsh team of the video. Where on earth was Swansea? No one knows. They don't do too well in my Super League videos, has to be said. Cardiff, definitely the only team representing Wales. 21 competition wins, did I say, for them? 3, 6, 12, 13. Yeah, 21 competition wins, sorry, for Cardiff. So great story from them. A massive rise again. Not quite as big as my British Super League rise, but they have risen to be one of the biggest teams on the video. So they are in third place with 21 wins. In second place, of course, we have Rennes. They fell off a little bit towards the end, but they are the biggest winners of a European competition. They're the only team to reach the Europa League final, and they won it in 2062. They also won 9 Celtic Premier League titles, 7 Celtic Cups as well. They also won 9 Celtic League Cups and 10 Celtic Pride Cups as well. So Rennes, of course, flying the flag for France as well, similar to Cardiff of Wales. Those two by far the biggest clubs of the nation. Did any other French team win a competition? I think FC Lorient won 1 or 2, but other than that, they did terribly as well. But Rennes massively flying the flag for the Brittany clubs of the video. And of course, way out in first place is Porto. They start off with the biggest team. They end up with the biggest team as well. They are by far in first place. Rennes won 36 competitions, by the way, so firmly in second place over Cardiff, who won 21. Now let's count up Porto's wins. They won 16 Celtic Cups out of 50 seasons. They also won 37 Celtic Premier Leagues. They also won 14 Celtic League Cups as well, and 13 Celtic Pride Cups. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Porto definitely won the video here today. Unfortunately, though, they never reached a European final, but it's obviously very difficult for them, seeing as they're basically playing in the Champions League every single season. We actually look at this. They won the league title 37 times, they reached runner-up 11 times, and third place once. So they finished in the top 3, 49 out of 50 seasons. So they only really had one chance to win a Europa League, a Europa Conference League in the video, and they obviously blew that chance of the video. So yeah, very hard for Porto to win a European competition, since they basically play in the Champions League every single season. But let's count up their wins as well. Well, 16 Celtic Cups, 37 Premier Leagues, that's 53. They actually won 80 competitions out of 50 seasons for Porto. That is absolutely ridiculous. By far the biggest team of the video, Porto. 80 wins for them. But in second place, we have Rennes, who did brilliantly from the Brittany clubs, winning 36. But quite a big gap between Porto and Rennes. And in third place, who were absolutely amazing, were Cardiff, who won 21 competitions as well, representing Wales, of course. But my team of the video, the biggest surprise, has to go to St. Pat's Athletic. They reached the Celtic Premier League, starting off in the 4th tier. And not only did they reach the Celtic Premier League, they were a well-established team for around 20 seasons or so. And they won 2 competitions, the Celtic Cup and the Celtic League Cup. So brilliant from St. Pat's Athletic, representing Ireland. Unfortunately, the Cornwall team, Truro City, and the Isle of Man team, FC Isle of Man, couldn't do much in the video. Their reputation was just way too low. But at least they featured in the video here today. At least every other nation won at least one competition win. But great from St. Pat's Athletic, and brilliant from Cardiff as well. So that is the end of the video, guys, of this Celtic Super League video. If you do like the video, do hit that like button for me. It's very important for the video's success. And also, if you're new around here and you want to see more videos like this, do hit that subscribe button as well. And also, if you want to recommend your own Super League, do let me know down in the comment section below. If it's a good recommendation, I'll definitely consider it. I have considered the last 2 and made videos from them, the British Super League and the Celtic Super League. Of course, I've got my own ideas, but I'd like to see your ideas as well. And a big thank you to Enver again for recommending this video. An amazing comment with great detail about the Celtic teams. And it's turned out to be quite a good video in my opinion. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you for the next one.